Hello, I am Joyce D. Higgins, Chrome Light's life coach. I will be presenting Know Thyself, a Path to Self-Discovery. The objective of this meditative journaling presentation is for beginners and novice. Meditative journaling is a technique used to help the practitioner open up to their pure potentiality so as to encourage a joyous and phenomenal life. During this presentation, you will learn techniques of reflective writing as well as how to interpret your writings. Meditative journaling is used as a vehicle to self-awareness, which is of your true self. Also, self-guidance to your divine infinite intelligence. Some of us may call it intuition, wisdom, God, the universe, or the Holy Spirit, and as well as a vehicle to expanding your creativity. I've learned in the recent weeks that we as human beings are co-creators with God. It is also a vehicle for spiritual development and us learning that we are one with one another. Little background information. The title, Know Thyself, comes from a long history of Greeks, and it was first heard initially. It was stated as first heard as Socrates stating it at the Oracle of Delphi. However, this ancient wisdom or this self-knowledge adage was, in fact, already presented in Egypt, Hinduism, Judaism, Buddhism, Christianity, Islam, and more all acknowledge that man must first know himself before he can become master of himself and know the world around him. Additional information today. We, between the ages of 45 years and 75 years, are in our third chapter of life, or you can call it the third age of fulfillment. And that age group is between 45 to 75 years old. Now, the first principle of the third chapter in life is that we must ask ourselves questions. We must be reflective. Be risky, if you will. Flow with growth. A good book to read regarding the third chapter is The Third Age, 6 Principles for Personal Growth and Rejuvenation After 40 Years Old. And that book is written by William A. Sadler. Additional information regarding a little background is you would benefit from learning the universal laws, specifically attraction, the law of attraction, the law of transmutation of energy, which tells us that we have the ability to change ourselves if we desire. The law of vibration is important as well. We have to remember we all have frequency. Everything around us has a frequency, and understanding that helps us a great deal. Also, the law of rhythm. These particular laws play a very vital important in us transforming who we are. The other additional background information that will serve us very, very well is understanding how to reach meditative states. One form of meditative states is yoga. Another one is walking, writing, drawing. I heard the other day listening to music, dancing, and also coloring, just with crayons, coloring. Remember, the practice of meditation, which can be done anywhere and at any time by studying the mind on an object of concentration, is important. You may ask, what are some of the benefits of journal writing? 1, it provides a helpful release for feeling intentions. It also has the ability to access your infinite guidance, which we talked about before, that wisdom. It gives you the ability to expand your creative faculties. Also enhance your personal and spiritual transformation. It gives you an opportunity and a place to purge. I can remember or recall saying to someone the other day, sometimes we could benefit from not being confrontational with others. And so this journal writing gives you an opportunity to write it opposed to being confrontation. Because you never know when you have to cross that bridge again. It also shows us our life's progress at a glance. Over the years, I have noted that journaling has given me the opportunity to see exactly how I have grown. The history of journaling. The first documentation that I found regarding the history of journaling was in China in the 6th century, and it was used normally for historical aspect. And then in the 10th century, you find that Japanese women would write poetry and jot down things that they were doing and looking into their gardens and things of that nature. I tickle and laugh at myself because I say they probably were using it as an opportunity to get away from their husband. Also in England, it was documented that the medieval paganisms or the pagans use it as a form of writing down information. Many called these pagans witches. But as I study, I'm learning more and more that the esoterical studies could be ascertained or could be correlated with paganism. And really, they were writing down the notions and the things that were spiritual. So we have to really rethink that again. Also in America, on the Mayflower, as the Puritans came over here to America, they said the form of journaling gave them an opportunity to look into their souls. What a wonderful thing to be able to observe your soul. So let's get started. There's where we talk about types of journals, devices of journal, which gives us an example of modes of expression and asking the right questions. We will also demonstrate today some of the writing processes of journaling. Now, types of journals. And of course, I would like to add here that journals could be interchanged with the word diaries. So, types of journals. Maybe you might decide to write about your family or your family history, if you will. I give this an opportunity to say how important family history or your family journal is, because you have an opportunity to leave a legacy. And so you could definitely use this journaling as a part of your legacy to your family. Some do dreams. You know, you sit next to your nightstand because you never know when you could wake up in the middle of the night and you don't want to forget your dream. So you write it in your journal. So you can have a dream journal, gratitude journals, garden journals, or travel journals. Many use it to document their travels as they explored the United States early on. Of course, general, art, or goal setting. Remember, find yourself a great looking journal and a great looking pen. Because the ruling is the better looking the journal is, it inspires you to write. You can also use maybe a computer or blogging. Young people today, they do journaling on Facebook. They talk about what they ate, what they did for the day. That's their form of journaling. I like having it in my hand or sitting it next to my nightstand. But whatever you desire, you can do. Now, devices. Catharsis is a form of journaling or a way of expressing yourself. Kind of emotional, ways to purge. That's that idea where you just write, and write whatever you feel. And you just write. And you let it flow. Description. That's more of a narrative. If you're talking about your five senses, what you see, what you heard today, what you smelled today, what you talked about today. Those are the particular things that you just do, you describe. Free intuitive. That's the way you just let it come to you and you write what comes to you. And reflective. That's where you question yourself. Now, one of the most important things here is that you do a variation of all four. Catharsis, description, free and intuitive, and reflective. Decide what you want to write, and it's your choice. Specifically, questioning, reflective questioning. How questions give you solutions. So remember, when you ask the question of how, you will get an answer, and the answer will be a solution. When you ask the question of what, it will give you a reason. One key form of question is, what is my purpose? Who am I? Where am I to go from here? Those are considered Socratic questions. So look up that. Socrates always asks questions of his pupils. So that's a way of figuring out who you are. One good book is by Debbie Ford, The Right Question, 10 Essential Questions to Give You an Extraordinary Life. That's a good book to take and read, or at least to consider. Now, the process of writing. One of the key things, you should always be consistent. Write on a regular basis. When I initially started writing or journaling, it was 1983, and I had breaks. And so I had one journal, 5 pages from 1983 to 1989. I didn't get really serious about journaling until 2004, but I realized how much information I had gathered about myself over a span of time, and that how it gave me wisdom, if you will. So be consistent. Write regularly. Be complete. Write specifically what you need to say. Don't write in codes. And we'll talk about that later. Vary your entry. And we talked about that. You may want to talk about your garden. You may want to purge. You may want to just talk about your day. One of the good things about, or one of the things that I learned from certain experts, is that you should start off at the beginning of your day and write forward. Or you should start at the end of your day and write backwards. It's your choice. But remember, don't stop. Be organized. That's key. There's no real rules, but being organized will help you when you go back to reread. So being organized would mean dating, putting a specific date. And I've recently began to actually put the time. I realized I wanted to understand how I was feeling at any specific time of the day, or a specific time of the day. And always remember, ask questions. Ask yourself questions. This is where your wisdom will come from. Now, at this point, I want you to take time and write out 10 positive affirmations about yourself. This process of affirming yourself is getting you prepared. It's purifying you. It's a process of purification, if you will. It allows you to get ready to be able to accept yourself as well as accept others. Remember, when you affirm yourself, you should speak in the first person or in the present tense, if you will, saying, I am. My 10 affirmations began, one of them, or a couple of them, I should say, I am loved and cared for. I am wise and connected to my intuitive self, the I am that I am. I am endowed for greatness. I am rich beyond all means. Those are just examples of my I am, or my positive affirmation. You make the decision on where you would like to be. And then we'll come back and allow you to describe yours. Okay, good. We're there. I've enjoyed listening to your affirmations. They were wonderful. So we go to the next step. Reflect and write. The process of meditating journaling requires that you, as practitioner, must consistently and regularly write out your thoughts and feelings over a span of time. Remember, for a better understanding of who you are, always ask questions of yourself and of your life circumstances. You have homework, so take the next 7 days to write as much as you possibly can. And then we come back and you will learn how to interpret your journal writing. There are benefits of rereading your journals. The other day when I presented this class, a young lady said, I threw all of my journals out. And I said, well, I don't believe in that. Because how would you be able to actually discover who you are if you don't have anything to reread? So keeping them is a benefit. There's a benefit from rereading and keeping your journals. There's a process also of rereading your journals. And of course, there's an interpretation method. And we will be talking about those individual items today. Now, the benefits of rereading your journals. Rereading helps you focus your energies and clarifies the presence. It also helps put your ongoing life in context. It gives you a sense of inner movement and continuity of your life. It allows you to compare one period of your life to another. I like that component because I've reread many of my journals, and they recommend that you reread them in volumes. Maybe you consider one book a volume, or you reread a whole year of information. It just depends. But I have been able to actually compare maybe 2012 to 2014 or 1986 to 2014 to look at my growth. That's where that progress, where you can see things that have changed about you or have improved about you, your accomplishments in life, they're all there. And also the wisdom that you have gained over a period of time and from one point to the next. It also allows you to see your passage of interchange and growth. That's that wisdom. That interchange and growth is very critical. Now, the process of rereading. Remember, be non-judgmental. I had a student say to me, well, you got to judge it. Well, yeah, but don't judge it as good or bad. Judge it as, okay, I would like to see change in this area. I would like to make this better, but not good or bad. But be open and relax. Be open. Follow your life's chronological order. Kind of important. We talked about reading in volumes. One book may be considered as a volume. Also, at the end of one journal, summarize. Or at the beginning of the next, summarize what the previous journal entries were. Sometimes that's difficult because you realize you're journaling for pages and pages and pages after you've summarized or analyzed what you've written. Interpretation methods. As we interpret, we will look at words, indicators, as well as content of writing, and of course, observable trends and patterns. Some word indicators. Do you label people? Do you call people dumb or blonde or dumb blondes or shrinks as your psychiatrist? Do you use the word as I constantly? Even though that's a good thing because it says you're taking responsibility for your actions. Are there any slips of the pen or major misspellings? Don't fret. Do you use words like always, never, stupid, should, a judgmental expression? Remember, those particular words indicate that is the parent voice. So recognize that. Recognize that as a parental voice. If you find those particular words in your journal writing, that's someone else talking to you. Do you reveal your feelings or hide them even from yourself? I can recall when I didn't want someone to read my journals or I was afraid that they would read my journals, what I would do, I would write in codes. But I realized later that writing in codes was not good because I didn't know what the codes were when I went back and reread. So write fully. The key thing in preventing others reading your journal, or some suggestions that experts suggest, is that you have everyone in the home writing in their journals or begin journal writing, because most likely those who write don't want others to see what they're writing, so they will respect your space. But remember, even if they did read them, it's okay. Maybe they needed to see or understand how you were feeling. So be open there. Do you keep secrets from your journal? Don't do that. That's like writing in codes. Do you concentrate on wishes, future wishes, or past memories? These are the things that you need to take in consideration when you're reading your journals. Do you record dreams? If so, what so? If so, What relationships do you notice between the dreams and the rest of your journal? What changes, if any, do you wish to make in the next journal? Now, trends and patterns of behaviors. Are you stuck on a similar problem or a certain problem? Does your journal reveal your repetitive emotional reactions that you want to change? As I reviewed my journals, I realized that I had this male-female issue. I had the same three guys. I talked about them for years and years. I'm thinking to myself, why? Why am I doing this? But then it gave me a chance to ask myself that question. It's all good. Do you see any destructive habits of your thinkings? Does guilt or self-blame appear in your journal? And remember, those feelings of guilt or I don't know or insecurities, sometimes that comes from our parents. That's our parents' voice or a childlike voice. So look at those particulars and figure out if it's our parents talking or if it's our childlike behaviors. Do you record pleasurable moments as well as complaints? And are they all complaints? Is it all purging? What personal strengths do you notice? What do you wish to reinforce? What do you like about yourself? What have you read that you like? Now, we want to take time and share what we've found. We don't have to be verbatim. Just talk about, if you found that you had a lot of entries that were about your parents, or a lot of entries where you took responsibilities for things or things that you saw, maybe your accomplishments. And what questions, how many questions did you ask yourself? And did you realize that the answers came? Sometimes we don't think the answers come, or we don't think our inner wisdom is there, but it's there. That's why it's important to ask the questions. Now, expanding you and realizing your pure potentiality. Remember, in order to be creative, self-aware, and spiritually in touch, you must intellectually and emotionally process, listen, value, and cultivate what comes from within, your true self, which is connected to your divine, infinite, indwelling intelligence. Be patient with your own process. Have faith and surrender to your intuition. It has all wisdom. Sometimes we don't want to accept what the Holy Spirit says to us, but it's all knowing. It helps us get from point A to point B, or it helps us on our life path. Surrendering is very key. It's beautiful. Continue to seek for growth and true knowledge. True knowledge is what gets us to where we're going along our path. As a practitioner, always remember, journal consistently and completely. Vary your writing. Become non-judgmental. Reread. That's half the benefits. Rereading your writing is half the benefits. Make the change you want to see. It's all there. All of your answers are there. Now, this is a moment if you have questions. If you have questions, you can always contact me. And you can contact me at Joyce D. Higgins, P.O. Box 478, Cherry Valley, Illinois, 61016, or Chromelight Magazine at gmail.com, as well as 779-324-2510. And for additional information, go to www.missiontolearn.com to reference 5 powerful reasons to make reflection a daily learning habit and how to do it, as well as www.generallythinking.com, how to identify your strengths, part 1, self-reflection. Additional links would be www.bestpersonality.com personalgrowthresources.com, where you will find self-reflection, a critical skill for your personal growth and development. Several books that might serve you. Christina Baldwin, One-to-One Self-Understanding Through Journal Writing. And one of my favorites is Tristine Rayner, where she writes the new journal, How to Use a Journal for Self-Guidance and Expanded Creativity. I reference this book all the time. She's a great writer, and she just described journaling at its best. Joel Osteen is another writer. Live Your Best Life Now. 7 Steps to Living Your Potential Life. And of course, as I stated before, Third Age by William A. Sadler. And Third Chapter by Sarah Lawrence Lightfoot. Thank you. Thank you for listening. And we look forward to hearing from you. Have a great day.